Both leftists and liberals care about democratic governance and believe in
I want to make this clear because this is important. I think you and I
Mm-hmm.
both are for like helping poor people and lifting people out of poverty.
Yes.
And, you know, people
yes.
making more money and stuff like that.
Yes.
Capitalism allows that to happen in more ways than socialism does. If socialism did allow that to happen more, you know, I'd be thinking about socialism too. But socialism is just about giving more power to the government, concentrating power in the government in ways that don't always filter down to the least among us, which is very sad.
I don't think either of us have some strong moral stake in capitalism. It's just we just look at history and we look at the facts and say, okay, like this is the system that seems to work. Communism seems to always fucking not work.
Yes.
And fail.
Yes.
It just lead to really awful outcomes. And so like why are we going to keep, how many times do we have to go back to the well of bad ideas? How many times do we have to go through the the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? Like how many times do we have to live this?
Once a generation.
Apparently. Well, it's sad because that's so true because people don't believe information. They don't believe stuff unless they experience it themselves. So every generation, they look at like the siren call of like the utopian communism or whatever, and they say that sounds like a good idea. And then the past generation says, "Well, we tried that; it kind of fucked up." And they say, "Well, I didn't experience that, so I don't believe it, and it probably didn't happen, or you probably did it wrong. This time, we're gonna do it right." And then inevitably, history repeats itself.
Just think of how many "I told you so"s though that we could dole out. I mean, that would be worth it just in and of itself, right?
That's right. We should destroy the country just so we could tell all these smug internet pieces of shit, "I told you so."
So I want to set a scene for you here. You and I were both in the concentration camp together. And we see
the gulag.
Second Thought sitting on his bed, counting his grains of sand. Right? The only possessions he has left in the world. What are we going to do? I say we beat the shit out of him. What do you say?
See, but the problem is we'll go over to him and say, "Look, you fucking idiot. We told you so." And you know what he'll say? You know what he'll say, Adam? He'll say, "This isn't real communism." Oh, my God.
I know.
It never ends.
I know.
And you go, that's the point, idiot. If your system only works in the hypothetical utopia of non-reality, then it's not a fucking system, okay? It's a dream. If every time your system is tried, it fucking fails, that means the system is inevitably flawed.
See, the truth is, in the concentration camp, he would have everyone on his side, and they would be beating the shit out of us.
No.
Because we'd be the ones telling them, "I told you so," and they'd be like, "That motherfucker." People hate to be told, I told you so.
That's true. That is true.
We'd be outnumbered.
That's
They'd be all like, "Let's get rid of those guys. They were right."
What are you talking about, Adam? This is beautiful. This is the future, okay? We deserve this.
Oh, that's what they'd be saying?
Yes. Because we'd be in the white concentration camp, so.
Yeah.
Universal human rights. But liberals, contrary to what...
Oh, wait, we gotta go back.
...interchangeably. Let's start with what the two camps have in common. Both leftists and liberals care about democratic governance and believe in universal human rights. But...
Do leftists believe in democratic... I feel like they don't.
Universal human rights, yeah. No, what about tax? What about the right to not be taxed?
Yeah, I feel like you can't say that you're a communist and that your primary focus is democracy or democratic function.
Liberals, contrary to what many conservative news figures will tell you, still put their faith in capitalist market-based economics. They believe that the problems in our capitalist society stem from corruption.
Andrew Yang, look at that.
Yeah, look
Andrew
at
Yang
that
under the bus.
Bad Andrew Yang. Ugh. He believes in markets. Disgusting.
Someone said Andrew Yang was a billionaire. I didn't know that.
He's not. I thought we looked this up already.
Somebody said that, and I was like, really? Andrew Yang is a billionaire?
Andrew Yang No, he's just a millionaire.
Fake
Like
news. Okay, good.
$3 to $4 million.
Wow.
I know, how poor, disgusting.
Yeah.
I didn't know we allowed such poor riffraff to run for president in this country.
Well, we
I'm
did keep him off
disgusted.
the stage as much as possible. So
That's true.
yeah, we
That's
didn't want
true.
him sullying up our good democracy here.
How can
individual.
how can he claim to know math if he only has $3 or $4 million? Okay, you
Yeah.
gotta multiply that by a little bit, buddy. Come on.
And if we simply root out these bad actors and pursue incremental reform, the system can function properly. Leftists have a different perspective. They believe that the problems we face are inherent to capitalism, and that the system is functioning exactly how it's supposed to.
So, the problem with this argument is that it hasn't always been this way. Basically, everyone acknowledges that there were time periods in America where the economy seemed to be better for the average person than right now. And they never explain this. The communists never explain this. How come we had this time period where, like, what happened? All the greedy, evil capitalists were somehow reined in check and capitalism actually functioned properly. What happened?
Yeah. Like we moved backwards, right? Corruption creeped into the system.
Right, but their whole claim is that corruption
never
didn't creep in the
functioned.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, their claim is that corruption is the system.
Yeah.
The left sees problems identified by liberals not as problems within capitalism, but as a byproduct of a properly functioning capitalist machine.
Well, and the thing that always frustrates me about communists is that when they complain about capitalism, they're really complaining about human nature. That's what they're complaining about. And it's true that some aspects of capitalism, if reined unchecked, will incentivize bad human behavior. Completely true. Through the profit motive. Okay, completely true. But the weird problem is communism doesn't even try to address those problems. It doesn't say, oh, look, under our system, we're incentivizing positive behavior. It doesn't do any of that. It just pretends like somehow it's magically going to go away.
Yeah, it's true. They don't understand human nature at all. That's the hugest problem about it.
Capitalism cannot solve problems it creates because that would impede growth. So leftists believe that we need to move beyond capitalism in favor.
Look at all these evil white billion. Look at that. Look at his ugly bald head. And that's, oh, don't you just want to vomit?
That toe head? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, look at that.
Look, it looks like a thumb. His head looks just like a thumb.
Fuck that guy. Ivan Getterix for $5 says, they will scream that wasn't real communism as they copy its every move and repeat its every chant. If it were any good, they wouldn't have to lie.
You know what they call it? You know what they actually call it? The name for it? State capitalism. They take the two most hated things, the state and capitalism, and they put it together and they say, it's state capitalism now.
There you go.
Or crony capitalism. It really is. Socialism is crony capitalism. That's exactly what it is. Because they just put their cronies in charge of all the means of production, the capitalist systems, and they have all the monopolies. It's like, it's monopoly. It's a monopoly industry or economy. It's a monopoly economy.
That's why so many of them they've like, it's so funny because they're like, oh, we're communists, but they're not actually communists. They're just Richard Wolff. Like, I just want all businesses to be co-ops. Like, okay. They just want to take away people's private property rights, basically. They're like, yes. And you're like, okay, so you need the state to enforce this? Yes. But then the state is not going to have any like other power over everyone else? Yes. It's like, okay. It's a nice fantasy world that you're creating.
There's a saying. I'm probably going to get it wrong, but I'm going to try. Without individuals, nothing new is created, and without institutions, nothing is sustained. Something to that effect. So the thing about the socialist system, they just can never address the idea that you need innovation, creative destruction. Like, what incentivizes people to innovate? And even if you can, by some miracle, get 20 people together who want to innovate the exact same thing, which if you've tried to start a business with friends or anything like that, you know how impossible it is. yeah, it's funny. Sitch and I have a show that just kind of magically came together. There's only two of us. I can't imagine having like a third person involved.
You know how long we've spent arguing about like minute details
Of the
in a fucking
comic? Oh,
comic
yeah,
book?
exactly.
Like
Perfect.
hours of time. We're like, oh, the guy should look like
Perfect.
this. No, the guy should look like this. Oh my god, I can't believe you did. It's just
Perfect
hours and
example.
hours.
Perfect example. Yes. So can you imagine bringing like a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth? It's like, holy shit. There's no way that that can happen. The way that comics are generally made is one guy has all the money to put the comic together and he makes all the decisions. Problem solved right there.
Well,
So yeah, the innovation cycle is something that they never, ever, ever, ever answer. The way that they answer the question is they'll say, oh, people want to innovate out of the goodness of their heart. You don't understand that. And I'm like, yes, I do understand that. There are good people in the world that want to innovate out of the goodness of their heart. It's about 5% of the population. So you're literally taking 95% of the population out of the innovation cycle. How are you going to make
Right.
up for that 95%? Like, yes, you have 5% out there that are literally saints. The company that they always want to brag about is this Mogliani company,
Mondragon.
Mondragon company. It was founded by a literal saint. The guy was literally a saint and a Nazi, by the way, but a literal saint. If every company has to be started by a saint, guess how many companies are going to be started?
Not a
Fucking
lot.
not a lot, dude. Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's what's interesting. Part of the trick is that they're very dishonest. That most of the large companies and corporations that exist could not exist under their economic systems. There wouldn't be an Amazon. There wouldn't be McDonald's. There wouldn't be any of these large. There wouldn't be Walmart. There wouldn't be any of these things. Which, look, I mean, if they're upfront and said, okay, we're going to completely reconstruct the entire American economy so that there aren't these large corporations anymore, you say, okay, I don't think people are going to be on board with that. I think people like the fact that they can go to Amazon and basically buy anything they want. I think people like the fact that they can, get a internet to their house quickly and easily and
Yeah.
cheaply. relatively
iPhones are
cheaply.
cool.
Right. Like it's hard to conceptualize how so much of our lives would exist if everything was a mom and pop shop. I don't think it could
Oh, it
exist.
sounds like torture.
It's like on one hand, be like, okay, well, I guess that's good. All the individual workers would probably, under their co-op system, make more money. But what would our standard of living be?
Much lower, much lower. I mean, I don't want to
don't know.
disparage mom and pop shops. One of the things that's going
Well, I
on
don't
with the
either. But I'm saying
pandemic
you
is,
can't conceptualize a country where that's all that exists.
yeah, it's funny talking about diversity because they're so for the diversity. Like, you want a
Right.
diversity of businesses. You want mom and pops. You want mega corporations. You want the whole diverse spectrum of corporate endeavor.